Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mitch's Minute. We are so distracted by Pokemon that we are late to the episode. Holy shit.
He found the wonders of the Wonder Trade, now known as the Surprise Trade.
Yeah, I just sent a Obstagoon that I caught in the wild into the Wonder Trade into the Surprise Trade, and I got a Sobble out of it, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do something fun. And so I have a Ditto set up with the Sobble I just got, and I'm gonna do a bunch of eggs, and I'm gonna try to hatch them and just send out a couple of starters out there. I'm gonna do the same thing with Grookey, cause fuck it.
Oh,
So fuck it, you know.
yeah, dude. 'Cause why not?
Yeah. By the way, hey everyone, welcome to the episode. This is gonna be a very special episode because today we're talking about two things. That's it. Uh, we're talking
Two
about
of them a very large obsession for you.
yeah, yeah. You ain't even wrong. You ain't even
Just,
wrong.
yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do the channel news first and foremost for this episode. So in the channel news today, we have very interesting kind of setup in which the how do I word this? I'm trying to find like a really nice way of putting this.
You're all
Um,
good.
so we're gonna cut down a little bit on videos this upcoming week. So last couple weeks I haven't been uploading as much. Nate's been covering me with Corpse Party, but I've been sick. I still am sick, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not great. Just because I get super self conscious about it when I'm like streaming and shit, and it sucks, and I hate it. Um, but yeah, so we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. So I'm actually purposely putting off some of my videos. Like with Fire Emblem, I'm waiting to get better so that I can like actually do a good job and shit.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, so you might not see a lot of like Fire Emblem coming out, but you will see like you will get your whatever Nate and Amanda decide to do. Actually, I got a preview of what you guys decided to do, and that seems kind of interesting and cool. Um,
Oh, okay. Awesome.
yeah, and let's see here. This week, Persona's on Thursday, and Pokemon is going to be on Tuesday and Friday. So our big stream days are coming back, which is kind of why we feel it's a little justified that we kind of reduce the amount of videos. Um, Also, something that we kind of notice is, you guys seem to like our streams a little bit more than you like the videos. Now that could just be because like these are newer games and stuff, but we'll see how it goes. I actually have something for you guys tomorrow that I'm excited to pull back out into the public eye. And so we'll see how that goes. And if I seem distracted, it's totally because I'm way too excited to talk about the next couple subjects. Let's talk about Pokemon, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Fuck it. We might
Fuck
as
it,
well
yeah,
get that out
fuck
of
it.
the way.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. We started Pokemon on the channel not too long ago, obviously.
Literally Thursday. It is
Literally Thursday.
Nate got a copy the morning of Friday for him, Thursday for us. He streamed it. You guys got it. And ever since I picked up my copy, I started playing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I stayed up all night playing it. This is the first time I've stayed up in like a long time just to play a fucking game. I lost track of time. I stayed up till like not all night. I stayed up till like 5. I stayed up till like 5 o'clock. Um,
Okay.
and like it's so good. I couldn't put it down. Like I was like, there was a moment where I was falling asleep and I was on a call with you, I think, and
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, dude. Like, I can't. And then I hung up. I laid down. I'm like, probably could do like one more though, right? And then I just kept playing.
I know, because you were just like, I gotta go. I gotta go. And I was like, okay, good night. And you're like, all right, bye. And then you hung up. And you apparently were just like, one more.
I can I could do one more. That's always the way it is though. Like that's just I don't know. I like I can't express enough how fucking awesome Pokemon is right now. Like it is so solid. Um I cannot even right now. Like even putting it down to do the show is like stupid to me. I'm like, oh, I gotta keep playing because it's a fucking addiction at this point. Um,
Yeah, but that happens with you pretty regularly, if I understand that
yeah.
you regularly get addicted to Pokemon.
Well, okay. So the last time I got addicted to Pokemon was 6 years ago, right? 6 years ago was Pokemon X and Y, and I just fell deep in that rabbit hole. I was like so ridiculous into it. Like I just loved it. You know, I mean, how
Yeah.
could you not? Is kind of like the thought process sometimes with this shit. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
So, what was the reason why you weren't addicted to anything in the 6 years? Is it because you didn't play them for 6 years?
I okay, so what happened was is I kept telling myself, "Hey, I should put off doing Sun and Moon because I want to do it for the show." And I was obsessed with trying to find a setup that would let me record it. And I just never did. Like I never could find something that would work the way I wanted it to. Um, because like if you look at like most of those videos are like, here's how to capture without a capture device. Set your 3DS up on a stand. Use your iPhone to capture the footage. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Your
no,
iPhone.
no fucking thank you, man.
Jesus Christ, your
I'm,
iPhone.
yeah, I'm good, man. I don't fucking like. I don't know. It was dumb. It was like dumb to me.
No, and I totally get it. But I mean, I know you have like an addiction to Pokemon at this point, but I am glad that you are enjoying it.
Oh yeah, it's I feel like it's kind of hard to get into Pokemon sometimes. Not maybe not get into Pokemon, but more like I find it like for me it's kind of hard to get into games like for long periods of time. Like well, I was just talking to Sor about this. We were just recording an episode of Hunter Bros. Of Hunt Bro or Mon what is it Mon I think it's yeah, it's Hunt Bros. I keep fucking up the name of the show. But we were just recording an episode of it, and I was telling him in the episode that like something that I think is kind of interesting is I have a really hard time with I just have a really hard time with staying into something because
Okay.
with Final Fantasy I I did this thing where I was like, oh man, like I could play this game forever, and like I almost did. I have over like 1,000 hours in Final Fantasy 14, and every Final Fantasy game I play, I put in like a stupid amount for no fucking reason because I can, you know, because why not? It's Final Fantasy. I love Final Fantasy so fucking much. But like with 14 I really really liked it. Like I had like it was really solid. I love the team dynamics. Even if you don't even have to talk to your other team members, as long as you all do your jobs, it all works out fine. And there's something about that that's just so refreshing to me, you know.
Oh,
um
no, I totally get it. Well, there is no like super in-depth communication system on there besides just like typing it out. I will say that it has uh fucked me over more than on one occasion.
hmm, I could believe
But
that.
healers that won't heal with me or will fight against whatever I'm doing as a healer quickly becomes frustrating. And I'm like, don't do that move. You don't need to do that. It wastes too much magic. Don't, don't. Please, don't.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Final Fantasy isn't perfect, but like the point is that like what I'll do is I'll get like really obsessed with a game, whether it was Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, Pokemon. I will pick a game and I will just be really involved with it for a bit, and then I'll tend to drop it because of some stupid reason. Like, not. It's never that I'm not interested. It's always like, I'm trying to think of a good way of wording it. It's never because I'm not interested. It's always because it's just like it feels like it played its course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
No,
I had my fun, I had my excitement, I had my like my moment, and now like I either like in 14 right now I'm waiting. I'm waiting right now. And most of the time it's like it's not like, cuz that's the thing, Grozen says it like burnt out, and I don't think of it as being burnt out, because burnt out to me is a bad feeling. It's like it's a feeling of like exhaustion, or like it's a feeling of like, yep, I've done this before. Like, I have that every now and then. And I did have that with 14 when I first started it. Or not first started, but when I went through my first 2-year kind of endeavor through it. I would say more like it's more akin to like... I'm trying to think of it. It's more akin to just like feeling like the natural end of something, you know. Like I'll be like, oh yeah, that you know, that's, I got my good fill out of it. Now, maybe my friends aren't playing it anymore. Maybe like, you know, for Pokemon, that's exactly what happened. I used to have a community of friends who were super into Pokemon, maybe not on a competitive level, but like the game had come out, we were all playing it together, you know, and we had that bond of like doing shit. And I was like a Pokemon, like I was a Pokemon breeder. I was like excited to like take Pokemon and like, I don't know, just have fun, I guess.
Yeah.
And like that was sorry, I was trying to fight back that cough for like a second.
No, you're good.
Like, but like when the friends stopped playing, and when, you know, inevitably like everyone kind of left the game, because it had been like, I think it had been like a solid 6 or 7 months, people weren't playing Pokemon anymore. People were playing the next big thing, and like I was still playing it because I love Pokemon. You know, it's not the best feeling in the world, you know. So like it kind of naturally was like, all right, well, I'm gonna put this down for a second, and you know, should I ever come back to it, I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the end of that, you know. It's how it has to go sometimes. But with Pokemon, it's just nice to be back after 6 years of like not really being a breeder, not really doing all these things I really like to do. I've already clocked in
20 plus hours.
25 hours.
Oh my god.
I've clocked in 25 hours into Pokemon over the last few days. And I think the only reason I stopped playing was because I had to do... It
came out Friday.
Well, yeah. What do you want from me?
I don't know. But it did come out Friday.
Well, there's like, I don't know, like this has been the thing I did this weekend, you know? Like it was the big like game I was excited for. It was the thing that I've been like, just, I don't know. I've been so excited for Pokemon, and like to the point where Tabby and I are like, we got this pre-order flag, like little like flag post
Okay.
for the game, and we're gonna frame it and everything. Like, you know, like I've rediscovered my love of Pokemon, and like just it being a simple RPG that I can play just at my leisure. Whether it's hatching eggs, whether it's max raid battles, whether it's dynamaxing or whatever, the game is fun to me. And it's why in the middle of the stream, like, Nate was playing the game and we sat there and I was just like, why do people not like this game? This is a perfectly good Pokemon game.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure why people just refuse the game sometimes. Um, some people, it's they don't like the starters, which is, I get it, because you have to spend the most amount of time with them. So I kind of get that. But for some people, it's just the Dynamaxing and how they're adding another fucking thing that they're probably not going to follow up on.
Yeah,
Or
it has been weird ever since X and Y, where they had the Mega Evolutions and that didn't follow suit. It's been a weird time.
like they tried to have Mega Evolutions for like another game or so, but they're like, this just isn't as popular as we thought it was going to be. But that's only because fucking you only released like what 20 Mega Evolutions and then went, aren't you hype? And it's like, yeah, but it's not even for the ones that everybody loves. Like, did I need a Mega Evolution of Gengar? No. Do I appreciate it? Yeah. But not everybody's favorite fucking character was Gengar, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, when you have 800 Pokemon, I mean, the question does become like, at at what point do you like Dynamaxing to me felt like the middle ground, where it's like, this is what we can do. Like, this is like, oh look, all the Pokemon can become fucking like big dick monster mashes. And like that to me was a signal of like, all right, so this is a universal kind of mega evolution that like any and then there's Gigantamaxing or Gigantamaxing, which is like certain ones essentially have a mega evolution, and the ones that can do that are like, like a couple. It's weird because it's not every single one, it's only a few members of that species. And so like I have a Corviknight, and
Yeah.
I misunderstood what Gigantamaxing was. It only specific members of that part of that like species can do it. So that was kind of an interesting, like, eye-opening experience on that end. But Insane Oddball is right. Charizard does get it all. He got a Mega Evolution. He has a unique Gigantamax. But I think it's just because he himself is just like such a big like character in like name two Pokemon, and the two Pokemon most people will mention will be Pikachu and Charmander, Charizard.
Well, it's ironic because Charizard is actually the most popular Pokemon.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Not Pikachu. Motherfucking Charizard.
I could see that.
Yeah, I think Pikachu, when it comes down to it, might be the second one. And Charizard is like the number one popular, even to the point where therapists use Charizard as a coping mechanism for kids.
Really?
Yeah. Because, like, when kids with PTSD are, like, explaining what's happening, they use it as a coping mechanism for the kids to imagine themselves as Charizard in that same situation. It's super weird, but he's kind of like become this weird symbol with therapists who are helping out kids. It's become very odd, but they just use him as like a coping mechanism for like a lot of like younger children, and he's gained like a lot of popularity that way. That, and he's just genuinely cool looking.
Yeah, he's just a red big dragon.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's Nah, I mean, that's the thing. We were talking about it the other day. Like, the Gen 1 Pokemon are kind of simplistic, but, like, it works. And I don't know. We were talking about Gen 1 Pokemon the other day, and I was making a point of, like, I never understood the idea that, like, people will argue that the Gen 1 Pokemon just have better designs when they look at, like, the ice cream cone one and, like, the garbage bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like Ball and Ball 2.
Oh, what was it? You said goo? Like, you
Yeah.
had said goo, and we each came out with a different goo-based Pokemon.
Yeah, I was talking to Mitch and Nate, and I went, or, the literal just goo. And then you said, like,
Grimer.
And then I don't remember who Nate said, but I went, no, you're both wrong. It's Ditto. Yeah.
We were talking. Well, that's the thing, because, like, there's when you said goo, I just assumed like an idiot that you had referred to that you had been referring to fucking Grimer. But there's, like, a lot of those Gen 1 Pokemon, like, as much as, like, people really have this nostalgic view and, like, like, that take on it, like, who could forget such classic Pokemon as Seal or Clam
or Bigger Clam
or Rat.
Or Bigger Rat.
bigger Rat scared me.
But what about Snake? But backwards.
What about Cobra? But backwards.
Or Duck.
Oh, jeez. I like Red Dragon and Fat Dragon. Those are my favorite ones. Slender Dragon, Fat Dragon.
Oh God, I know. That's something that always just confused me as a kid, because I was like, I love Dratini. Dratini's so cute and pretty. And then it's just like the final evolution. My ass always went, why?
Yeah.
Just, why does it look like that? It shouldn't. No.
It's like a Dragonair flies to America and comes back a Dragonite. That's what American Dragon Jake Long. No, but, like, that's the thing. Going back to Pokemon has been, like, a fucking treat. Just, like, everything about it has been, like, I do like the new online functionality a lot. I love the theme of this one. I adore the theme of this Pokemon, where it's the sports arena. They really leaned into that, and I don't know. There's something about it where I'm like, this feels natural. Like, this feels like what Pokemon should always be like. But, like, I don't know. It's good, Pokemon for the first time in a long time, to me, feels just, like, natural to play, and it feels just great. And yeah, like, I don't know. So I was talking to a coworker, and they had mentioned, like, isn't that game for kids? I'm like, yeah, but we adults ruined it. So, I mean, we ruined it for them,
Like, let's just be honest.
Let's be fair. We have destroyed this game. When I had first heard about EV training, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That was so ridiculous to me.
Yeah, but like that even though Pokemon knows what the heck is going down with their stuff, they're just like, we're still for kids. We're still for kids. Yeah, now sit through fucking learning how to throw a Pokeball 70 more times. You don't like that? Well, too fucking bad, because guess what? This is for fucking 7-year-olds, you giant assholes.
And yet here we are. Here we fucking are. As always, playing Pokemon. But, like, EV... Well, that's... Okay, Ren makes a good point. EVs and IV training weren't an intended feature. No, they're not. They're not supposed to be an intended feature. They're supposed to be a level of customization specifically for your Pokemon. It's something that, like, it was supposed to be so that every Pokemon had a different stat. So, like, if you spent your time, let's say, fighting a bunch of Diglets, right? Like, let's say you just fought a bunch of Diglets for some reason. your Pokemon would then have higher IV, like the IV that it gets from that, because, or is it IV or EV? I can't remember. They get a point towards speed. Each Pokemon has an IV or EV that they give off, and the idea is that the stronger the Pokemon you fight against, the better you will, like the better kind of custom trained the Pokemon would be. That's the intent is good. It's so that little kids, each one has a different Pokemon, in the same way that natures affect stat growth. These were supposed to be customized features that would just make the Pokemon different, so that Billy's Charizard and Tommy's Charizard were very different in weird ways.
They're two different Charizards.
Without them even knowing about it.
Yeah, but like that's the thing, is that like how being a breeder in Pokemon is a job, people took it upon themselves to become breeders, but not in the way that it is like in Pokemon, the way that it is here. Where you breed only for the best and get rid of the worst. You're not a shiny. Your IVs and EVs aren't that good.
Get the fuck out of my team.
Yeah. Your personality isn't that good. And, like, that's just how they do, because that's how breeders work here. And breeders in Pokemon tend to seem like loving people. They seem more like pet breeders or just casual farm breeders for the most part. But here, it's like you are competition / fighting breeding.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
Well, and that's the trick, because when I say I'm a Pokemon breeder, I mean in the sense that like what I will do is I will, if a friend wants a Pokemon, I'll get a Ditto and I'll try to do some customization to it. So like I always pick Hari. Hari was my favorite pet project, right? Hari was a Luxray I raised that had it was a Glaceon dad and a Jolteon, like a Glaceon grandfather and a Jolteon dad, right? And the reason why is because Jolteon can learn Double Kick and pass that on to a small, I can't remember Luxray's original evolution or original form, but like it can pass on that trait. Luxray itself cannot learn Double Kick or Ice Fang on its own. It can only learn it through egg breeding. And so I had made, oh, thank you, Ren, it's a Shinx. So what I would do is I would have it so that the grandfather taught Ice Fang to one Shinx, and then Jolteon taught Double Kick to the next generation. So then that way, it was my favorite Pokemon, because what I would do is I train that thing in because in X and Y they had a little mini game where you could increase the IVs through a mini game, which was the best. And so what I did was I trained it to be super fast and super strong. So my opponent, most of the time my friends, would pick like a rock Pokemon or a dragon to go up against Luxray, because Luxray is a pure electric Pokemon. But what they weren't expecting was Luxray to grab onto the neck of that dragon with Ice Fang and kill it. Or to have fucking Hari Double Kick the Onix or steal, or like whatever big rock bitch it was, and kill it instantly. Like that's the type of breeding I like. Obviously there's
surprise death breeding.
Surprise Ice Fang. Then it's like Luxray can't learn that, and I'm like, I know Luxray can't learn that. Like that's the kind of niche shit I like. I like it when a Pokemon has a move that it shouldn't have. Like that's the kind of shit that I'm I really get into. Rent says like Ponyta with Water Beam. Is that a thing?
Can Ponyta get Water Beam?
It's like I don't know. I don't know, but I guess I'll look that up later.
You're like, next project.
Well, like that's the thing. I don't know too. Like I have to get really familiar with the Pokemon in Sword and Shield before I start doing things before I start getting things like set up for egg breeding and stuff like that. Yeah, Grunzen says the most basic.
Something skitties and wailords.
Yeah, that's the thing. Pokemon breeding in itself isn't like a perfected science. Like the concept isn't a perfected science, but like in terms of like A groups and stuff. But overall, like that's the thing. There are systems in place within Pokemon that are oddly complex and makes it fun. But it's when we adults take it and try to dissect every little piece of it, that's when it becomes like too much.
Yeah.
And I had a really bad first experience with that when I was playing X and Y, because I was trying to explain to my at the time 14-year-old cousin who had just gotten X and Y why I had beaten him with Hari with my Luxray, even though he was using a Charizard that he was really proud of, and I Ice Fanged it because he Mega Evolved it into the Dragon subtype, and I was like, oh, okay. And I Ice Fanged it. And he didn't understand why he lost, and I was trying to explain that, like, it happens sometimes. I trained this thing to have a bunch of speed, you gotta play the minigames and stuff like that, and I felt, like, really bad because clearly it wasn't something that, like, he was like not knowledgeable about, but it was something that he doesn't think about. Like that's the stat RPG aspect of the game. And then that's when I was thinking of that Pokemon Rusty bit where he goes to the EV trainer.
Oh yeah, and he makes the perfect Bidoof.
Yeah. EV training, you're sucking the fun out. EV training, you're too old for this exploding the game because you don't have a life. Beating up kids makes you feel like a man. Yeah, that whole bit. I'm like, oh.
It was something about, like, making homework out of a fucking game.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon is math. You don't. It's like a job you don't get paid for. A job you don't get paid for? That's just school.
Yeah, basically.
Oh man, that's such a good bit. But nah, so like I think at the end of the day, all I can really say about Pokemon Sword and Shield without going into spoilers and stuff like that, because I am almost done with the game, mind you. This game is fucking awesome. It is so fucking good. This is the kind of game I needed, I think. So like it's I don't know. It's really good. I don't understand why people hate this game. Maybe it's people who like obviously do this a little bit more than I do, you know? But anyways, let's move on to the next topic at hand. Let's move on from Pokemon and talk about the thing I caved in. Oh, it's the Mandalorian. Oh fuck. So Disney Plus just came out, and I did a whole episode about this a couple of weeks back about how I wasn't exactly excited for Disney Plus, or essentially the world that it was going to bring us into with Disney, where other companies have now the gall to start fighting Netflix over the monopoly of the streaming service. Not monopoly, but like over their very high pool in the not monopoly in the streaming game.
You can call it a monopoly.
It feels like it.
It really does.
So I caved. I got a free trial. And I watched the only thing I was interested in watching, which was The Mandalorian. As of this recording, there's only 2 episodes of The Mandalorian out now. The reason being is because Disney is doing the smart move, which a lot of bitches are very upset about, where they're just like, oh, why don't you just release them all? No. Don't do that. That's the problem we've ran into. Fucking Stranger Things comes out, right? And like it's the whole thing. There's nothing wrong with waiting a week for an episode like an anime or like or like how TV shows work, where you just have to have that thing you get to look forward to. I get to sit here and I'm like, oh man, next Friday, another episode of The Mandalorian. And like, you know, and have something that's like worth it, you know? I don't know. It's just I think with streaming, I don't like binging. Binging is I think poisonous to how you consume something in
Yeah.
because I don't feel like you retain as much information when it comes to like what you just watched, what it all meant, and that kind of stuff. Like I don't mind like maybe like depending on the size of the show, right? 20-minute episodes, you could probably get away with like watching like 2 or 3, right? It's about an hour's worth of material, maybe hour a little bit more. Like,
Yeah.
but binging like the chilling adventures of Sabrina,
Oh, that was rough.
That was a rough time, but we were doing that while we were drinking.
Yeah,
That
or
almost
drinking
justifies it.
and eating.
Yeah, we were drinking and eating, and like we were having a good time with it. But the point is Disney Plus has finally launched. Go check it out. I guess. It's definitely made for nostalgic. I don't know. A lot of this. Obviously, it just launched. They don't have a lot of their original content out just yet. But something that I'm looking forward to is some of the Marvel TV shows when they pop. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm not happy about it, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably pop like a year's subscription to this show or to the service, just to kind of see what it's like. I mean, I don't have a Netflix account. I actually use my sister's. So this is kind of like maybe like this will be my way of being like, here, Jesse, just use this or something like that, But so far, so good. And this is the only show I have Disney Plus for, and this show is within its first 2 episodes some of like the best Star Wars shit I've consumed in the last couple years. Looking at you, Last Jedi. Fucking.
Yeah, I mean, even me, who's not that big of a fan of Star Wars as a whole, simply probably because I got off on the wrong foot with it. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Baby Yoda is adorable.
That's right. There will be spoilers for The Mandalorian here. Because it's 2 episodes. It's 2 episodes, guys.
I mean, to be fair, what I just said isn't even accurate. It's not even Yoda.
Yeah, it's true.
It just looks like a baby Yoda.
Well, the thing is, like, that's the only thing we can call him. Because it's either that or the asset is what people are calling it.
Yeah, the asset. Fucking... It's a tiny baby Yoda. It looks so fucking cute.
It makes the cutest little noises. Then
It makes just regular baby noises.
No, it's too cute though. Can't just
those are baby noises.
Nope.
I don't want to believe you.
I refuse.
But yeah, dude, it's so cute and so sweet, and I'm actually having a pretty good time watching it.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited for Friday, man. So for those at home who don't know what the fuck we're even talking about when it comes to the Mandalorian, in Star Wars there is a race of warrior people called the Mandalorians. In the old canon of Star Wars, they were kind of like a equalizer of sorts. They had armor that was developed to kind of like deal with lightsabers and make them kind of bounce back. Big dick kind of shit, they were cool. Essentially, what it boils down to. But over the last many years of Star Wars, the Mandalorian race has kind of dwindled down. There's not many of them left.
Yeah.
And their stories are slowly passing into legend. And it's kind of a sad situation. And our main hero, who people just, he doesn't have a name quite yet. We just call him the Mandalorian. He, or Mando, some people call him. He is trying to just do bounty hunting work, for the sake of the remnants of his tribe. And that's kind of the big deal with him. And like, they're trying to get, he personally is trying to get an armor, not an armor, but a metal or an ingot called Beskar, which apparently is what the armor is made of. Like the classic legendary Mandalorian armor is called. And And at the end of the first episode, it is revealed that a big bounty he's after, the one that's going to pay ridiculously, is for a small 50-year-old baby Yoda. Yoda's species ages at a very, very slow rate. And he is just a tiny baby. And so there's kind of a bunch of hijinks that happen, but within the first 2 episodes, it is kind of revealed that Yoda as a character, not Yoda as a character, Yoda as a species, like, is, I guess all of them are force sensitive. I guess. So, that was kind of a fun little bit. But yeah, so there's some stuff going on. There's some definite, like, morals being pulled. The baby's cute, and Mando doesn't necessarily know, like, by the end of the episode, the second episode, it's kind of like, you see that he's like, fuck, do I turn this baby in?
Do I give this baby up?
And I think that it's kind of like an interesting dilemma to have for a main protagonist like The Mandalorian. And I like The Mandalorian because it is something that I don't know, there's something about that I really enjoy. He's from a dying tribe of what used to be legendary space warriors. And in the comics, if I remember correctly, the idea was that, like, mind you, this isn't canon anymore. But the idea, I thought, was that, like, the Mandalorians have been mostly wiped out because of the fucking Jedi-Sith conflict. And them being, you know, regular dudes facing off against space wizards.
I mean, to be fair, it is pretty, like, shitty that they're just regular dudes fighting fucking space wizards.
Yeah. But, like, it's been definitely an interesting show. I cannot emphasize enough how much I love the show. It reminds me of, like, the pacing of it reminds me of a Western, which I really enjoy. I love it when directors and stuff, when, like, people will do that for, like, a sci-fi property, is to try to, or, like, even when it's not like trying to bring back the Western's pacing. Is something that I really like. It's something that I super enjoyed with the movie Logan as well. I don't know why, but Westerns always had, like, such a good. I love a good movie that deals with the micro and not the macro, if that makes any sense. To me,
I get it. Yeah.
Like, the best movies to me were always the ones that, like, had characters go through, like, not believable, that's not the word, just like I like the idea that the Mandalorian's whole gimmick is just trying to get money, you know, like, that makes sense to me, like, and it's just something that's relatable. And maybe that sounds simplistic, but, like, I don't know, it just makes sense to me.
I get it.
I enjoy it. So oh jeez. Don't fun trick, kids. Don't do streams and videos when you're sick. It's not good.
Sick as fuck.
God, I really just want this to go away. But yeah, it's only 2 episodes in. Please go check it out, guys. I know that, like, I know it's a conflict of interest because I don't like the idea that, like, I don't like that Disney is expanding the way that it is, but I do really like what they did with this one. If they can keep pumping out, like, it's a conflict of interest. It's a weird conflict because it's like it almost feels similar to, like, the Blizzard scenario, you know, where it's a corporation. I don't necessarily enjoy the idea that they're expanding as much as they're doing, but for the company that is expanding, I'm glad it's them and not Blizzard.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's just how I feel. So anyways, guys.
Yeah, if for no other reason, watch it for the tiny cute baby.
Mando's also pretty solid. There's
yeah, also he's a cool guy.
I would argue that one of my favorite things about the show, I feel like most of this video has been me gushing about The Mandalorian. there's not really anything negative I have to say. That's the kind of the problem, and with most most reviewers online and stuff, their best videos come from like the things that they're tearing apart. But this is not something I could really tear apart because I enjoy it too much, not only as a fan, but also as someone who is really glad to see some of the practical effects back. There's some really dumb looking Muppets and shit that I really, really like. Like, then there's like, I really like the Jawas just being like lights in little suits and stuff like that. I love that. I like that. I don't know what it is about it, but it's that Star Wars charm that I feel like has been missing. And as much as I'm hit or miss about Episode 9, I am gonna go see it just because, you know, I gotta finish this off. It's not definitely not been my favorite fucking trilogy of all time, but by fucking God. Oh God.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
You know, like, say what you will about George Lucas and the prequel trilogy, but fuck, dude. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I remember a couple years back I watched Last Jedi, and I did a review on this show that was talking about how much I liked it and how much I enjoyed it, you know? And there was this one scene in it that I really thought, but in like the theater experience was great, but it happens every fucking time. I get home, or like a couple months will pass, I'm sitting at home, I'm thinking about the movie, and I'm like, did I really enjoy that movie, or was it my excitement for the movie? And I was talking about this.
The heat of the moment.
Yeah, I was talking about this with Gang Mudo yesterday because we were talking about Endgame, right? I sat there and I'm like, did I really like Endgame? Like, is Endgame's not an A+ to me. It's definitely like okay. It's just not great, you know? And like, I can't help but feel like there's a lot of movies where I'll, like, in that moment, I'm like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad I'm watching it. And then I'm like, man, maybe it's not as good as I remember it. And I don't feel like that's going to happen with The Mandalorian. Like, that's the difference, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, there'll be things that maybe I'll kind of overlook in the moment because I'm just, like, I'm trying to enjoy the movie. But, like, with this, I don't feel like that's going to happen. Because it didn't happen with things like, it hasn't happened yet, I should say, with the Joker. And, like, it hasn't happened, like, with some of the other, like, solid films I've seen this year. But yeah, besides that, guys, fucking, it's been good. Like, go check this out if you want to. Also, you don't have to if you're not a big fan of Star Wars. But I think this is just I'm a huge fan of, like, not even, like, I like Star Wars, don't get me wrong, but I think the reason I like this so much is because I have this, it's such a dumb niche of the sci-fi western, the Fireflies, the Solo's a Star Wars story, like the ones where it's about like the dirty smuggling, or like the fucking, like, gambling shit. Like, that's the kind of Star Wars that I wish we would get more of, and I think that's what The Mandalorian is delivering. Like, at the end of the day, I think that's what we're getting. So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I have to talk about today. That's pretty much it.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm also, like, horribly tired. I'm just like, this illness is getting the best of me sometimes. But we will come back this week, you know, stronger than ever. We have some fun stuff, like Scaff. We have some fun stuff coming down the line. I'm really excited for the return of one of my favorite shows that we did. And, you know, Persona as per usual. So I'm happy for that. And obviously Nate playing more Pokemon, because I feel horrible that he can't play it, and he's like, he bought Final Fantasy X just so he wouldn't have to, like, feel bad about Pokemon.
Yeah, because he can't play through it. Oh god, it does feel real bad, man.
He lost. He won the vote, but I think that's the thing. He was pretty okay with it until he started playing it, and that's when it's like, oh,
Well, yeah, because then he realized he's like, uh-oh, I really want to play Pokemon. Oh, no.
All right, guys. We'll catch y'all next time.
Next time.